Hello everyone, thank you and welcome to this webinar this morning. Hello, welcome wherever you're from. So good morning, good evening, good night. I have no idea where you are in the world, but most of you hopefully are from Australia, watching in on Dr. Angela Pascoe and this amazing interview that we're going to be doing with her. And Dr. Pascoe, I just want to thank you so much as well, obviously, for your time today. And we do really appreciate you getting on here and sharing your wisdom with us, and obviously this new information regarding NRF2 activation and basically living that happier, healthier life. So I'll just give a quick bio on Dr. Angela before we get into the questions, guys. Now, Dr. Angela Pascoe is a wife. She's a mother of 3 children, so 9 years, 10 years and 16 years old. She's been in practice as a chiropractor for 8.5 years now, and Angela's Wellness Clinic consists of massage, acupuncture and chiropractic. She graduated from the chiropractic college while delivering her daughters from home and raising her son and maintaining a strong connection with her husband. I absolutely love that. I want to know more about how you did all of that, because that's a lot of juggling balls in the one space right there. And Angela is a visionary and has an unyielding passion for delivering wellness to the world through chiropractic and nutrigenomics. So welcome, Angela, and thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let's get into the questions. I will try to keep this short and quick. So, you can answer them as long as you want to, but there'll be me just firing questions at you. So I hope that's okay with you.
Perfect.
Yep. Now, number one is, would you share a bit of your history with us first? And also, what is it that you're currently doing now on top of what I've just mentioned there?
Sure. Bit of my history. I grew up here in South Dakota on an acreage. So grew up from a very young age, like learning about nutrition. My mom always had a big garden, so I fell in love with that as a little girl. And that thankfully carried into my adulthood. I found out I wanted to be a chiropractor after my son had some pretty incredible results when he was young, and that led me to chiropractic college. And I always knew our bodies, the best healing we have is within our own cells and within our own bodies. And going into chiropractic, I got to learn more about that, and I get to be living my passion every single day. I have a strong work ethic as well. I met my husband in Cairns, Australia. I went to undergraduate school, and I had the opportunity to travel there. And I had a day off, and I decided, do I want to go skydiving or scuba diving? Well, it's the Great Barrier Reef. That would be stupid not to go scuba diving. So he was down under dive. He was one of the instructors on the dive boat, and the rest is history. And he moved over here to the States because he wanted to support me in my dream of becoming a chiropractor. So eventually we want to be back on a boat. He's a sailor and a scuba diver by trade, so we want to be on a boat. Maybe we'll end up down in your neck of the woods at some point down the road. So I've been in practice now 8.5 years. My kids, keep me really busy. At 8 and 9 are my girls. They're 15 months apart. I joke a little bit. 1 out of 3 was planned. I think some of you on here might also resonate with that. It's just how it goes, And I was introduced to Nerve2 activation 1.5 years into my chiropractic practice. And I know you got a few questions for me regarding that. But I wanted to incorporate this after learning about what this did, how we could turn on our body's own ability to heal. I knew it was a no-brainer. It was something I wanted to incorporate into my practice. I needed my patients to know about this. I wanted to be on it the rest of my life, activating this pathway in my cells. And I wanted my family members. And now all my kids, everybody, has been on the Nerve2. They've been activating their Nerve2 now for years, which is phenomenal. Had really good results just with my family. So I have a desire to not be stuck here in cold South Dakota. It's so cold through the winter, and I've grown up here my whole life, but you never get used to it. So I eventually want to step away. I want to be able to travel the world, and this business has allowed me the opportunity to step away from my practice and be more present with my kids, especially the ages they are right now. But it's going to allow me to be able to step away and do medical mission trips and travel and bring chiropractic to places in the world that just don't have good medical care or any for that matter. So that's a goal and a dream of mine, is to do that. So I'm working my way there. I fit it in, this business, I fit in the nooks and crannies of my day for, 7.5 years. And I've seen incredible results with people activating their Nerve2. So
Wow, what an incredible story, just going on from what I said. And I had no idea about the Cairns trip, and you being
Yeah.
in Cairns and meeting your husband there. And that's crazy. Hey, it's all circling back around. And I just love that sort of information. So thank you for sharing all of that with us. And we can hear your passion, which is just incredible. So I just love that. So thank you for sharing. Now, how did you become aware of oxidative stress, and what exactly is oxidative stress? Can you explain that for us, please?
Sure. So it was actually, I always knew about free radicals. When I ask people if they've heard of oxidative stress and I get that deer in the headlight stare, I used to be that way too. Basically, and then I ask them, do you know what free radicals are? I get a lot more nods, a lot more yeses. It's a large number of those free radicals that lead to a cell that has oxidative stress. It's essentially a sick cell. We're rusting from the inside out. So, and we get these things from the air that we breathe. We're just all sitting in front of a computer right now, our cell phones, the EMFs, the benzene we breathe when we pump our gas, financial stress, you name it. It's unavoidable. Too much exercise, too little exercise will induce oxidative stress or increase free radical damage in our cells. And this damage that's happening is cumulative. As we age, that's why we see a lot of conditions later in life manifesting, because our body's ability to fight these free radicals or fight this oxidative stress becomes less as we age. And a lot of kids are being bombarded with oxidative stress and cellular stress, and that's why we're seeing higher rates, I believe, in children of cancers and autism and you name it, because we're losing that ability to combat this damage that's being done inside of our cells. So it's I tell people all the time, if you're breathing, you're creating oxidative stress. Just metabolizing our food, when our body produces energy, a byproduct of that energy production is a free radical. So just eating food, just breathing will create these free radicals in our cells. And one thing that I found out, a direct antioxidant like a vitamin C molecule, that only neutralizes one free radical. If say that vitamin C has 60 antioxidant molecules in it, it's only going to neutralize 60 free radicals. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So when I found out about this, and I found out that our body's own enzymes, by turning on nerve 2, they actually, one of our body's antioxidant enzymes neutralize 1 million free radicals per second every second. It's like turning a fire hose on and putting it in every room of a house that's on fire. So it just made more sense to me to turn on my body's own antioxidants versus taking a direct antioxidant. I knew about free radicals as a chiropractic student and even before that, but the term oxidative stress is something I'd never heard about until a patient of mine came to me with an ABC investigative report that some of you may have seen regarding oxidative stress and nerve 2 activation. And that's where I started diving in and learning more about oxidative stress. But essentially, it's a large number of free radicals inside of our body, and our body loses that ability to fight them off, and it leads to cells that are just incredibly sick.
Wow, great answer. Thank you. Can you go into a bit more about how oxidative stress actually affects us? What the outcome of that is?
Sure. Oh, man. So if you guys don't know, go to pubmed.gov. Type in oxidative stress. You'll find now, I just did this today because I had to look, there's over 193,000 studies on oxidative stress. First of all, PubMed.gov is the National Institute of Health's website. It's where all published peer-reviewed research, so gold standard research is. It's where all doctors, all people that want credible research, it's where we go to find credible research. Back in 2011, when I found out about this, there were 87,000 studies on oxidative stress. There's now over 193,000 studies. That's a huge, huge deal. And even nerve 2, I went and I typed that in, and there were over 10,000 studies on nerve 2. In 2011, there were 500. So it's the direction research is headed. Research is really picking up on, oxidative stress is linked to over 250 conditions as its primary cause. Things like heart attacks, psoriasis, melanoma skin cancer, any arthritis you can think of. Inflammation, at the root of inflammation is oxidative stress. Chronic inflammation, diabetes, cataracts, macular degeneration. Type in, though, oxidative stress and whatever condition you're concerned with. When I first learned about this, my son struggled with ADHD since the time he was 3. That's what I typed in. I found thousands of studies linking the two. And I realized at that point, if I can lower oxidative stress, if we can lower the root cause of over 250 diseases, we can help with a lot of the symptoms associated with these conditions. So it's like putting the fire out. So it's linked to almost everything. But if you're curious about something specific, I always educate people. I tell them, go to pubmed.gov, type in oxidative stress and whatever you're concerned with, and see if there's that link.
It's very alarming, isn't it? And it's crazy.
Yes, it is.
Yes. All right. So does oxidative stress affect animals as well? And what are the signs of oxidative stress in animals? I'm not sure if you deal with animals a lot, but maybe you've seen some information around that.
I've got a lot of people on my team that are horse lovers. So we've got a lot of horses on Pro Tandem. We've seen incredible results. I've seen incredible results with dogs and cats. You wonder why a dog ages 7 times more than a human. Have you guys ever heard that? They have 7 times the amount of oxidative stress. You can imagine they're down there sniffing on the ground. And if, I don't know if you guys spray a lot of chemicals there, but here in the Midwest, there's a lot of pesticides, herbicides, and chemicals. And a lot of it's sprayed on our yards. And these animals, they're breathing that in. So they actually induce or incur more oxidative stress than we do. So the same conditions we're dealing with. You're seeing dogs that are dealing with cancers, fibrous tumors. You see diabetes in dogs, seizures. I've got a patient of mine whose dog has been nerve 2 activated for now 2 years. Seizures are gone. It's incredible. Because they're mammals, right? And when you can activate nerve 2 in all mammals. So animals are affected even greater than we are by oxidative stress. That's why they don't live as long as we do. So.
And there's some incredible YouTube videos, isn't there, that you can go and watch?
Oh, there are.
It's incredible to watch.
Cassie the dog. That's one of my favorite ones. And there's some cool horse ones. But there's no placebo effect in animals. It's kind of funny. I've had some of my patients put their animals on the nerve 2 activation before themselves. And then they see the results and they say, well, if this is doing this for my animal, if my animal's coat is shinier, they're just healthier, they don't get sick. I wonder what this could do for me. And some people need to see their animals get better first. So
yeah, it's incredible to watch. I highly recommend everyone goes over there to YouTube and watches those videos. Okay, yes. So the next one is why are we not educated on oxidative stress? And why is it that our physicians don't even know about this as well? Why are we not being told about oxidative stress in this day and age?
Sure. So a lot of us, we hear a lot about antioxidants, right? And you hear a lot about probably free radicals. Well, we know antioxidants are good for us, but honestly, in a large number, they're not. They could actually cause more damage than good. I didn't learn about oxidative stress in chiropractic college, frankly. And now I talk to some of my colleagues that are one of my patients is in chiropractic college. I do believe they're teaching now nerve 2. We learned a lot about free radicals as chiropractors. Medical doctors, you guys have had the pleasure of Dr. Mark Gordon is over there, and you've got the pleasure of him there. He said back when he was in medical school, they got a half an hour on nutrition, and it was making fun of it. And I don't mean to offend any medical doctor or chiropractor or medical professional on this Zoom, but frankly, we don't learn a lot about it. We have to self-educate. We have to educate ourselves on what oxidative stress is. But I've seen more articles on oxidative stress in the past 2 years than I have in the 7.5 I've been involved with this company. So I do think it's becoming more of a buzzword and more people are going to learn about what it is. But I think we haven't heard about it because there hasn't been a good solution on how to combat it. So doctors might not want to talk about it if they have no real good solution on how to combat oxidative stress. They can tell you about it, but they've got no solution because the direct antioxidants just don't cut it.
Awesome. Okay. So Dr. Pascoe, can you tell us or help us understand why it's important to take charge of our own oxidative stress and reduce that for ourselves?
Sure. Well, oxidative stress, it's cumulative, right? So as we age, I love the analogy. I love using analogies. I think people can understand things better. I heard the analogy. One of the gentlemen on this company said that when we're young, we produce garbage, but we have a lot of garbage men cleaning up that garbage in our cells, in our body. As we age, we continue to produce the garbage, but we lose the number of garbage men. So by turning on that nerve 2 pathway, we increase the body's own antioxidant enzymes, and then we've got more garbage men to clean up that garbage. So it's this cumulative effect, and you can eat very well. A lot of people say, well, I eat clean. I'm, raw food, organic. I'm, vegan, whatever they believe they eat well enough. You guys, you'd have to eat like 376 oranges, I believe, to induce nerve 2 the way that whereas one, you haven't mentioned the pill yet, but one little yellow pill turns on the nerve 2 pathway, increases our own antioxidants, which then neutralize free radicals at a rate of 1,000,000 to 1. It's a no-brainer. Turn on your body's own pharmacy. So
turning on your body's own pharmacy. Oh my God, I have to write that down. That is amazing. I love that. And I love the analogy about the garbage men. How cool is that? I've never heard that one.
It's great. It's great. Kudos to Scott Satterfield. He's who I heard that from.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, Angela. So what methods can be used to reduce oxidative stress? Here we go. This is where we get into some juicy information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the best thing that we know of to date is activating nerve 2. There are several now that, there's usually, we're lucky we're first because there's more products coming out into the market that claim to activate nerve 2. One, broccoli, the active ingredient in broccoli sprouts, sulforaphane, activates nerve 2, but it's only a 16th as potent as that little yellow pill that we're going to talk about here in a little bit that activates nerve 2. To my knowledge, can I say it, or am I able to say Protandim on here now?
Yes, you can. That's
so Protandim, I call it oh, awesome. Sorry. But I always say it's a salad and a pill. It's 5 plant ingredients activating or turning on nerve 2. That's the best way to combat oxidative stress, is turning up the production of our own antioxidant enzymes. And the best way to do that is activating nerve 2. And increasing, turning it on, allowing the body to turn on that nerve 2 pathway. And the most potent nerve 2 activator we have is Protandim, to my knowledge.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so you did mention NRF2. Can you go into a little bit more about that and what that means before we go into a bit more about Protandim?
Sure, absolutely. So NRF2 is a protein. It's in our cells. It's in every single cell of our body. I always say we live and die at the cellular level. So nerve 2 was discovered in '93 in Japan. So that's why most doctors, they're finally beginning to hear about it. Especially you saw, right, 2011, or you heard there were only 500 studies on nerve 2 on PubMed. Now there's over 10,000 studies, and I believe 2,000 of them alone this year, over 2,000 studies. So nerve 2, protein in our cells, right? If you don't have something that activates it or turns it on, it's dormant. It's not doing anything in our body. So you need an activator. So what we do is we take Protandim, it activates nerve 2 in our cells, turns it on. Nerve 2 then attaches to our DNA, telling the body, make more of your own antioxidants. It also has been known to tune close to 500 genes. That's huge. One of the studies that we have are on Alzheimer's, colon cancer, and atherosclerosis, plaque in the arteries. And it showed in all 3 of those conditions, the genes were altered, activating nerve 2 in a positive way. So it's incredible. We no longer have to feel plagued by genetic disorders. Like, grandpa died of a heart attack, which my grandpa did at a young age. My mom worried about that. We don't have to be so fearful of these genetic conditions because we've got the ability to tune our genes. And nutritionists, herbalists have known this for a long time. It's nutrigenomics. It's how food in combination can alter our genes. So.
Wow, great answer. I never get sick of hearing this information, but you just explain that in such an amazing way. So thank you so much for that. Now, is it important for our children to reduce their oxidative stress? And I know you mentioned this before with your own son, but can you give Protandim to children, and what do you recommend? What dosage do you recommend for that if you are going to give that to children?
Sure, sure. About 40% of my practice is pediatrics. I see a ton of babies. I see a ton of toddlers, all the way up to adolescents into adulthood. Absolutely, kids need it. Kids are being born sick, you guys. They're having, inflamed brains inside the womb, contributing to autism. I could do a whole talk on a lot of that, but it's not. Kids need this. I mean, like I said, kids are being bombarded by so many chemicals and toxins, and look at all the crud in our food. I could do a whole lecture on just our food isn't food anymore if we're not growing it ourselves or we know where it's coming from. We got to watch out. There's so many preservatives and crud in our food that can contribute to obesity. There's so much childhood obesity. There's so many kids that are going to die before their parents in this generation, and that's incredibly sad. So kids need this as well. They need to lower their oxidative stress, cellular stress too. And a lot of kids, specifically ADHD, and I'll highlight this because I've studied it a lot with my son, but ADHD and autism, their level of glutathione, and glutathione's the body's most powerful antioxidant, is incredibly low. So are cancers. With any cancer, your glutathione level is incredibly low. Well, that molecule passes our blood-brain barrier. It's responsible for healing and recovery of our muscles. It's responsible for detoxing our brain of heavy metals. So when you can, what Protandim does, it increases glutathione 300% after 4 months. That's huge. That's why I tell people, commit yourself 6 months to a year, whether you feel anything or not, because that glutathione boost, when that happens, a lot of amazing things can happen in the body. So kids need this too. And as far as dosage, the company, just because they want to stay compliant and safe, they don't recommend, I believe, under the age of 18, but I get this question a lot. And yeah, all my kids are on it. I would say for a healthy child, a third of a tab, 5 and under, a third of a tab. It's hard to cut it into fourths, so just a third would be fine. And then, a half a tab for probably 50 to 100 pounds. And then any child over 100 pounds, probably a full tab. Or any child struggling with autism, with ADHD, with cancer, with, you name all these different conditions, with Crohn's, celiac. You got a lot of kids that are struggling with these inflammatory bowel conditions now. I'd have them on a full nerve too. So somebody that has higher levels of oxidative stress, I'd have those kids on a full. As far as, I've had breastfeeding moms take it and it passes through breast milk. I've seen incredible results in baby skin with eczema. I've seen incredible results with nursing moms. Their ability to, they've said to me, and I can't test this, but they say that they felt their milk was richer and it was, their production was better. Kids are less colicky, less gassy. It's amazing because you're passing it through your breast milk. You're helping them activate their nerve 2 pathway as well. So absolutely, our kids need this. I think more than ever now.
Great. Yeah, there's just so much in our lives now that are bombarding us, isn't there? So it's definitely something that we all need to keep on top of. Okay, so the next one is, does this product Protandim interact with any other drugs or medication that we may be using? And I do just need to say that, Dr. Pascoe, that we obviously don't claim to treat, prevent or cure anything. And I know you've been going into that a little bit with the kids and different conditions and those sorts of things. Yes. And obviously with medication and that as well, we have to be careful with, how we work around that. We're not doctors ourselves, but you are. So in your opinion, does the product Protandim interact with any other drugs or medications that we may be using ourselves?
So I always tell people, I don't, as being a chiropractor and not a pharmaceutical doc, I don't deal with a lot of medications. So I always say if they're wondering, go to their pharmacist. The pharmacist is going to know more than probably the medical doctor will on different interactions, especially with herbs. To my knowledge, there's no interaction. If a person has had an organ transplant, I always say, and they're on an autoimmune suppressive drug, I make sure they go, to their doctor and get approval. But letting them know what this is doing, it's lowering oxidative stress. So I always say, go in saying, will it be good for me to lower my oxidative stress? And then another thing, blood thinners, turmeric, also thins the blood, turmeric and Protandim. So blood thinners, people may have down the road less of a need for their blood thinner. They may be able to reduce the dosage down the road. or blood pressure medications. I've had a lot of patients be able to reduce and completely go off blood pressure, and it's because the body being activated gets into a balanced state, and the body no longer has that need for those medications. But I always say, if you're reducing any of your medications, do that with the help of your medical doctor. Don't ever try to cut something, wean yourself off something, or just go cold turkey off something that could be incredibly dangerous. And then also, the company stance on chemo is during active chemo, no Protandim. But I've had incredible results in my practice with patients during chemo on it and patients that did it after their chemo. So it comes down to, I think, a personal choice, and also one that somebody may have to have a conversation with their oncologist about. And I've been lucky enough to come across a few oncologists in this town that have taken the time to look at the research behind what we have our hands on and approve it through chemo. So those are the main conditions: the autoimmune conditions, the organ transplant conditions, the blood thinners, and then the chemo.
Great, thank you. That's amazing information. You seem to have had everyone come through your practice with something that you've been able to help support, with this product.
Oh, yeah.
It's just incredible. So, Dr. Pascoe, there are so many products on the market that everyone believes are this magic miracle pill. We hear that a lot. Why can we believe that Protandim really will do what it claims to do?
Sure. So why we can believe what it claims to do is because we have that peer-reviewed evidence. We have now 24 peer-reviewed studies. Go onto that website, pubmed.gov, type in Protandim, and you'll see 24 published peer-reviewed studies. And these are from independent parties. This isn't LifeVantage doing a study saying, this is what we found. These are places like Vanderbilt, places like Harvard, Louisiana State, places around the world that have studied this and validated it for us. So it's already been proven. When people say, I need to do my research, I think they just need to read more and understand more, because the research has already been done. That's why we were able to make that claim. We're able to make the claim that Protandim reduces oxidative stress 40% 30 days. It's because we have that first peer-reviewed study proving it. So that's the difference between, what we have our hands on and what other people may have, is we have that peer-reviewed evidence.
And what amazing evidence it is. I don't get tired of reading that every time we come out with something new. It's so exciting to read that information. Okay, so just tell us a little bit more about your take on Protandim, and does the company offer a money-back guarantee on Protandim itself?
Sure. And this is honestly, I had to ask my account manager about that one, which I got an answer today. She's awesome. They do offer money back. If the product hasn't been opened, you've got 30 days to return the product. If it's been open, they're not gonna return it unless the person has had an allergic reaction. I've had very few people have allergic reactions. Usually it's stomach upset, it's vomiting is what I've seen. And typically it's more than likely the ashwagandha, more than likely potentially the milk thistle. But LifeVantage, we typically don't offer that. But if somebody's had an allergic reaction, my account manager did say, well, they'll absolutely honor that. And then people would have to pay the tax or the shipping back to return the product back. So.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you for checking that out for us and letting us know about that. Okay, so what if I use the product and I don't feel any changes to my body? How would I know that this is working? I guess this is where you can go a little bit more into what Protandim does, and the fact that we don't have to feel that outside effect for it to know that it's working. But what if there are people out there that say they're not feeling changes and they may be a bit skeptical then as to whether they should be going off it or not?
Sure. So I've had some people, and that's why I always try to have people commit 6 months to a year and really give them the value of what this does and help them to understand nerve 2 activation right away. The fact that it's proven to reduce oxidative stress, 40% 30 days, that's proven, whether we feel it or not. And I always ask people the question, do you feel your cholesterol high or low? No, you might not feel your oxidative stress high or low. So you might not, I preface it before somebody even gets started on it. You might not feel that knee pain necessarily go away right away, but give it time. And your knee pain may still be there. What if it is just bone on bone? You know, this product can only do so much reducing of inflammation. We can't fix bone on bone. But what I've definitely see is that oxidative stress, it's linked to over 250 diseases. I mean, you go to PubMed, I tell people, do your research there, see what it's linked to. If you can lower that oxidative stress, you may have the potential to help tons of different conditions, whether you feel it or not. And that glutathione boost, that's huge for recovery. My mother, it took her 4.5 months into being on this for her knee and ankle pain to be reduced. But she knew, it's so funny, she came to me and she goes, my nails. She goes, my nails are stronger, they're harder, my hair is shinier, it's less brittle. She goes, if this is doing this for the outside of my body, it must be doing something for the inside of my body. So just because you don't feel a difference doesn't mean that it isn't working. And honestly, I've had some people, and we maybe all have had some people just quit because they don't feel that difference. But then often, 2 weeks later, I'm getting a phone call saying, I guess it was helping with that inflammation. I wake up in the morning and my back hurts again. Or they might not feel that difference because it's gradual. Those positive changes often are gradual for people, whether it's, you know, improved quality of sleep, you know, or reduced inflammation. You might not feel that, but when people go off it, so sometimes I'll say, okay, I'll say to people to go off it, you know, often then they can feel that difference. But then if they don't, I guess it's their own choice. We can never make choices for other people. I feel that if I can just educate people enough on what oxidative stress is and how we can reduce it by turning on our own potential to reduce that through nerve 2 activation. If I can help them understand the value, I feel that people are going to be more committed to being on it long term.
Yes.
Does that answer your?
Yeah, that was excellent. And I know myself, even just going off it for about a week, lower back pain starts again. My sleep is all out of whack. And I know what you're saying about people feel like they need to go off it to actually realize what it's doing for them. So it's so powerful when you do go off it and you're like, oh my goodness, I need this product. Okay, so Dr. Pascoe, what if you're someone that takes a number of supplements? And what are the most important supplements that you feel people need to take alongside Protandim?
Sure. I appreciate you asking this question. And I appreciate the company putting together, I can't wait till you guys have these stacks as well. Okay, so definitely a probiotic. Our gut health, 80% of our immune system function resides in the gut. So being on a very good probiotic, one that has strains that are going to withstand the stomach acid. A lot of probiotics don't have the strains that withstand the stomach acid, and not much of it is getting delivered to the gut. What I love about, you know, the one that we have, or, you know, others that are out there, there's strains that can withstand the stomach acid. Ours, 60% of it gets released in the gut, the ProBio. You guys don't have that over there yet, do you? Darn it. Hopefully soon. It's an amazing probiotic. I've worked with probiotics for over 15 years, and I've had them in my practice since day one. Because if you can get the gut right, you can reduce inflammation, you can improve immune system function, you can help reduce anxiety, depression. It's incredible the studies I've read recently over the past year linking poor gut function to brain or psychiatric disorders. 95% of our serotonin resides or is released in our gut. That's our feel-good chemical. So if our gut is out of whack, and how does it get out of whack? Typically, the standard American diet are fried foods, antibiotic use, chronic stress, all of that. Pharmaceutical medications can throw off our good bacteria in our gut. So probiotic, number one, be on a good probiotic. Number two, probably an omega, a really good omega. And one that's probably higher in the DHA, which is the fat that our brain needs. Our brain is mostly consists of that DHA fat. And as women, we need that fat to help with hormone balance. So if we're not getting a lot of that, if we're not getting DHA as a precursor to certain hormones, if we don't have enough of that in our body, our hormones are out of whack. And we end up, after having babies, and a lot of you probably on here have experienced maybe some of it, our hair is dull, it's falling out, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, My sex drive isn't there anymore. These are things that happen when our hormones aren't right. So that good fat for our brain, and our body doesn't produce omega oils. We have to consume them. So you guys are lucky near the coast. If you're eating wild caught fish, 2 to 3 times a week, you're getting probably enough of that good omega, in your diet. If you're not, being on an omega is essential. And then also vitamin D. So many people are deficient in vitamin D. And I have a colleague of mine, he's down in Arizona, and he goes, you know why so many people are D deficient here in Arizona? They get sun all the time. And I said, why is that? He said, Roundup. A lot of times Roundup that's been sprayed on our foods stops the body's ability to produce vitamin D. I never knew that. So vitamin D, I think year round, whether you're in a sunny environment or not, because of the chemicals that have been sprayed on our food. So probiotic and omega, vitamin D, and then if your body's deficient in any minerals or anything like that, if you get a panel, be on anything that your body might be deficient in. But I've seen people's vitamin and mineral deficiencies improve simply on the Protandim, because if you can help your body absorb what you're consuming, Protandim, I feel, helps the body absorb more of what we consume and other supplements we take. I tell people that are adamant they want to stick with their supplements, this could only enhance their supplements they're currently taking by taking Protandim, because it's going to help with the absorption of it. So those are the key, probably some of the main other supplements that I'd recommend: a vitamin D and omega, and also probiotic. And for those that can get their hands on the Nerve One Protandim, activating that pathway in our cells, incredible. So it'd be those.
Wow, I just learned a lot just then. So our body doesn't produce omegas. I did not know that. That's incredible. And Roundup stops us producing vitamin D. Oh my goodness. We have so much Roundup in Australia, like you guys obviously do. It's a big product for farmers. Yeah. So I had no idea that it stops you producing that vitamin D. That's insane. Wow. Okay. So let's go on to the next question. Some of our guests are saying that they're healthy. They already eat very organic. They may eat a lot of raw antioxidant foods. And I know you touched on this before with, eating a certain amount of oranges every day to make sure you're activating nerve two. Yep. But why would they need more antioxidants if they feel like they're very healthy, they eat organic, and they're eating a lot of antioxidant foods? Why would they need Protandim?
Because all the foods that we consume, or the supplements that we consume that are direct antioxidants, only neutralize. So say we're consuming 500 antioxidants a day. That's only going to neutralize 500 free radicals a day. Well, my analytical brain wanted to know, how many free radicals do we produce on a daily basis? 23 septillion. That's 23 with 22 zeros behind it, you guys. So eating those foods, you could eat as healthy, you could be the healthiest eater in the world. It's not enough to combat the free radical damage that we're bombarded with every single day. When our body's own antioxidants, the indirect antioxidants like the glutathione, the SOD or catalase, one of those enzymes neutralize up to 1 million free radicals per second every second. So back to that firehouse, or that house on fire analogy, a direct antioxidant, all the good food that you eat, it's like a Dixie cup of water on the house fire, you guys. The fire hose in every room of the house is our own antioxidants, turning them on. So that's the difference maker.
So super powerful, isn't it? Very powerful for our bodies.
Yeah.
Okay, in Australia, Protandim costs $59 a month, Dr. Pascoe. So in your experience, does that sound reasonable to you? $59 a month? I mean, for me it does, but what's your take on that?
I do. I've worked with other supplements. My husband was so happy when I came home and I said, I found you one pill once a day, because I had him on a whole handful of different supplements, and we were spending over $200 a month individually on the supplements we were taking. So when you can eliminate, when you've got that ability to eliminate and break, eliminate a lot of those extra supplements your body just doesn't need anymore, when you can turn on your body's own pharmacy, you're turning on your body's own ability to heal, it's worth that and more. I'd pay over $100 a month for Protandim Nerve 2. It's incredible, because and that's, people ask me, how can this one little pill help with disease A through Z? And again, we don't claim to cure, treat, mitigate, or prevent disease with this, but when we can turn on, it's a miracle body, not a miracle pill. So when we can turn on the body's ability to produce more of our own antioxidants, that's worth way more than the money we're paying for this pill, I think. And again, it boils down to the value. One person might value it, the other person might not. So the person that doesn't see the value in it might consider and see that that's too expensive. But when you see the value, it's underpriced. I think it's at a very fair price. And I was very fortunate to meet Dr. McCord in the beginning of this company. And he said, he goes, I want this in the hands of everybody. He said at his last conference with us, he said, take this to the world. So pharmaceutical companies wanted to purchase it off him. They wanted to shelf it so they could formulate drugs that work also through this pathway and make money on that and also help people. There are a few drugs that are NRF2 activators on the market. And one point that I'm going to point out too, now that my brain went to it, the one drug, Tecfidera, it's a NRF2 activator. That company, Biogen Idec, did a head-to-head comparison of Protandim and their drug, and they showed that Protandim was more than twice as potent at activating this NRF2 pathway. And they stated in their words, maybe a better therapeutic approach to MS. And again, we're not saying this. It's the pharmaceutical company saying that. And I remember when Dr. Mark read that, he looked at me and he goes, you don't see that. You don't see nutritional supplements more potent than a drug, ever. So that was really neat to see that and to have that validation that we really do have our hands on the most potent NRF2 activator on the market.
So powerful. Oh my goodness, that MS study is incredible, isn't it? People, please go and read that if you have not seen that before. And I loved how you said it's a miracle body, not a miracle pill. We don't claim that it's a miracle pill. It just shows what our body is able to do when you put it back in balance and get it to heal itself again. So that's amazing. Okay, so Dr. Pascoe, there are more and more companies claiming that they have NRF2 activators. We know that Protandim is the most potent one out there and the most potent natural NRF2 activator out there as well. But how would you respond when people ask about other products or what differentiates Protandim to those products if they're claiming to be NRF2 activators?
Sure. Again, it boils down to our science. I mean, 24 published peer-reviewed studies. I don't think anybody's going to catch up. Even the pharmaceutical companies, I don't think they're going to catch up. They're trying to figure out, other ways to, market different NRF2 activators. There's a lot of, and I don't know if you guys that have seen Dr. Mark yet over there, there's a lot of companies and universities that currently hold patents on NRF2 activating drugs. They just have to get through that FDA approval first. So there will be more and more and more that hit the market. But the differentiator is we have 24 published peer-reviewed studies proving Protandim does what it says it does. And having that's all that I need to know that what we have our hands on, it does what it says it's going to do because of the studies behind it. So, and these other companies, they may claim to have studies. I tell people, I say, go to PubMed, type in that product and see if it pops up. It probably won't. It rarely ever does. So that'd be the differentiator.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Dr. Pascoe, just to close off, I know that you're an amazing mum, a busy mum with 3 kids, as we said before, and someone who is very passionate about what you do with nutrigenomics and your chiropractic centre. And you must have a lot going on, right? I'm sure you have a lot going on in your life. But why did you choose to become a distributor of Protandim?
Sure. So I shared with you 1.5 years into practice, one of my patients came to me and said, and I was open because I'm an open person. I know that I can learn more from my patients if I just open up my ears and listen, if I ask the right questions. So I was already open, and I'm open to this business model. I've done 5 other companies. I used to be embarrassed to say that, but I spent more money than I made. And my husband, I came home and I said, I found a company finally that I can partner with that has a product that I think is going to change the face of how we view health and healing. And he goes, really? And he kind of rolled his eyes at me. And then, but I'm proving him wrong. We're good. But I knew, so I was open to network marketing. I was open to this business model. It's the most beautiful business model when done right. The more you help people, the more you get lifted up. And then the product, I've never seen science behind something like I have with Protandim. So I can easily put my name behind it. And I knew I wanted it in any of my patients that chose to put it in their body. I wanted it in their body because I knew what I was doing as a chiropractor, this would only increase their healing potential even more. Being on this, I think activating nerve 2 in combination with the chiropractic adjustment, removing nervous system interference, healing potential is unlimited. That's how I treat my patients. That's the mindset that I have. So when I learned about this and what it truly did and turned on the body's ability to produce more of our own antioxidant enzymes, it was easy to incorporate this into my practice, into my life. And I'm really glad that I did. I'm busy. My kids, include your kids in this, you guys. If you're not, they could be resentful if you're fitting this in the nooks and crannies of your day and you're not, you're off doing a meeting and not spending time with them. If you don't include them in it and say that, if we reach this rank or this rank, how should we celebrate, kids? Let them choose. Go to the park, go out to eat, let them pick their favorite restaurant. When you hit a big milestone, let them pick a vacation spot that you can go to. So everybody kind of is cheering me on, because there have been a lot of times, there's ups and downs in this business, and you guys know it. I've been in the valley a lot and I've been, up on the mountain too. But, when you've got your whole family involved, I think that's what makes it worth continuing. But get your kids involved too. That's something I didn't do right away. And I think in retrospect, I wish I would have had them involved right away, because they didn't understand. They were 2, 3, and 9 when I started this business. They didn't understand my mom had to be away yet again. I was just at the practice during the day. Why do I need to go away at night? So when I started incorporating some charts and here's how many meetings mom's doing, and if I get to that 15 or 20, we'll celebrate. So they were pushing me out the door, knowing that they had a prize in the end too. So.
That's amazing. I love that. Thank you so much for that tip. For all those mums out there who are thinking, how am I meant to be doing this? That's such a good tip to get the kids involved. And it is so important to have them understand why we're doing this and what it is that we're doing this for. So thank you so much for all that information. And guys, I really hope you've learned some information here today, and you can take this to your own people and share it with them as well, so we can keep educating people on Protandim and NRF2 activation and what that is doing for us. And who better to learn it from than Dr. Angela Pascoe? You've done an amazing job with us today. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with us today. Guys, I won't be opening it up for questions. We have gone a little bit over time, so thank you all for jumping on here and listening in. And Dr. Angela, thank you so much for your time again. We really respect and appreciate you for everything that you do. So I will leave it there, guys. Thank you so much, and we will see you all on Saturday, 8 a.m. for the next call as well for our health series. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
We'll see you guys.